For more on U.S.-China relations, we're joined now by Joel Trachtman in Massachusetts. He's professor of international law at Tufts University. Joel, you just heard in that report that Wang Yi saying this relationship, one of the world's most important, but it also appears to be one of the world's most strained relationships right now. What needs to happen to get things back on the right track?
Well, it's a strained relationship, and there are many areas of interaction. Right now, under United States politics, as you know, President Trump is scapegoating China for our economy, for the COVID-19 pandemic. And so it's a tough time before the election to see reconciliation. After the election, especially under a Biden presidency, we can expect more pragmatic relations, as Foreign Minister Wang Yi suggested. I think we'll go back to earlier kinds of relationships, and these are the two most powerful countries in the world. And they have a lot of good that they can do if they cooperate, and a lot of damage that they can do if they're competing in inappropriate ways.
Joel, presidential elections, you brought this up. They always seem to be a platform for candidates to really say how tough they're going to be with China. And I remember interviewing President Carter some years ago. He says normally after the election, the rhetoric eases up, things soften. But you mentioned things might get better under a Biden administration, but I've talked to some people here in Washington who say, yeah, maybe, but not by a large margin, that there's really kind of a new normal out there. Do you see it that way as well?
Well, it'll take cooperation on both sides. I think we can expect pragmatism from Joe Biden. You know, as you're suggesting, before the election, there's a lot of tough talk, especially about trade. And Biden is engaging in that and actually blaming President Trump for being too close to China. But I think after the election, we'll see an end to that. But there are lots of tough issues, including trade, the problem of dealing from the United States perspective with China's government-led economy, problems of investment and security, cybersecurity, security in the South China Sea. And so we have a lot of relationships. And I think Foreign Minister Wang Yi said we have to look at the interactions in these relationships, and there may be some possibility for greater compromise once we look at these things together. I think that's a hopeful note that he's sounding. I'm not optimistic that the United States will be in a compromising mood before January, frankly.
Joel, I remember interviewing you back in 2018 about the trade dispute as it was just about ready to begin, and you said when it comes to trade, the experts all say one thing: if you impose barriers, you're shooting yourself in the foot. So as we look back, what about the carnage? What's happened there in terms of trade? Who suffered? Both sides? What's the landscape look like?
There's no doubt that both sides have suffered. The United States has suffered and made itself less robust against the economic problems that we're now experiencing with COVID. And the best thing we could do at this moment would be to drop these heavy tariffs that would promote manufacturing in the United States. It would promote consumption. We should drop those tariffs, especially on personal protective equipment and other medical devices. And we should start to cooperate in the trade area. But you're quite right that we've made ourselves more economically vulnerable through the trade war that President Trump has been prosecuting.